Hello students, my name is Ankita and I am teaching as an assistant professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurugram. I welcome all of you to the video lecture series of computer networks. In these video lecture series we are going to discuss each and every topic which is associated with computer networks, and in today's video we are going to study about Ethernet and its various types. Ethernet is a very traditional LAN technology basically, and it is nearly around 30 years old, and it has become very popular due to its speed, low cost and relative ease of installation. You can say that traditional wired network which we call a LAN is known as the Ethernet. It is a very common method of networking, and it includes the copper cabling also, connectivity with the copper cabling also, and it provides fast and constant connections too. Ethernet can handle about 10 lakh bits per second and can be used with almost any kind of computer. We all know that the network has become very important part of our daily life, and with its ease of sending data within a seconds, we have become fond of networking and the internet. So to know about the networking concepts, it is very important that whatever we are using in our smartphones, whatever medium or method we are using to um, access the world globally, we should understand how these technologies are working basically. So for even higher transmission speeds also, we have different variations of Ethernet, among which fast Ethernet and gigabit Ethernet are there. So fast Ethernet is having specification IEEE 802.3U, and gigabit Ethernet have specification named with IEEE 802 Z.3Z relatively. So what this Z denotes and what this W denotes, my upcoming slides will be covering that also. So these local area network standards have raised the Ethernet speed limit up to 10 megabits per second to 100 Mbps per for fast Ethernet, and for gigabit Ethernet this speed has increased up to 1000 Mbps. So with the minimal change made to the existing cable structure. So here this is the table of different uh, versions we have, like if we have 802.3a, c, d, when they were introduced, in which year they were introduced, and what are the description they have for their purpose. And for example, 802.3a was introduced in 1985. This was the Ethernet standard, which was having the thin Ethernet of 10 base 2 bandwidth, and 802.3c, which was introduced in 1986, which was having the repeater specification also. So all these are specifications are already defined by the AIEEE. So everything is noted and specified there also. So there are also the terms like 10 base 2, 10 base 5, 10 base T, 10 base T, 10 base F also. So we will study about these. Wait a minute, I'll show you the different. Yeah, these are the 10 base standards. 10 base T stands for unshielded twisted pair. 10 base 2 stands for thin coaxial cable. That means they are providing 10 Mbps speed with the baseband of 10 Mbps speed, and T stands for twisted pair cable. The thin coaxial means 2 stands for thin coaxial cable. 5 stands for thick coaxial cable. 100 base T is the 100 Mbps speed with unshielded twisted pair. 100 base FX stands for fiber optics. Similarly, these are the different standards or specifications used for establishing the Ethernet. So let us move on to the types of the Ethernet. The fast Ethernet, it is the very first Ethernet, which was extended version of normal Ethernet. And while 10 Mbps seemed very fast in the mid 1980s, the need for the speed resulted in 1995. So standard IEEE 802.3 was 3U was introduced for 100 Mbps speed Ethernet over wire or the fiber optic cable. Although the 100 base T standard was close to 10 base T network designers, so network designers had to determine which customers needed the extra bandwidth. So because there was a choice of bandwidths, the standard also allowed for the equipments that could auto negotiate the two speeds. So these two speeds can be switched, in between. Like if we have 10 base T networks, or it can be extended up to 100 base T speed in the fast Ethernet. So if we say, in other words, an Ethernet device was transmitting or receiving from a 10 Mbps networks, it could support that network. If the network operated at 100 Mbps, the same device could switch automatically to the higher rate. That's what I just said, that 10 Mbps network speed can be extended up to 100 Mbps speed. Ethernet networks then could be 10 Mbps, 100 Mbps, or connected with 10 or 100 Mbps Ethernet devices that automatically switch they automatically having the switch network capability. So the switching capabilities were very fast from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. So IEEE shortened identifiers like 10 base 5, 10 base 2, 10 base T, 10 base F. They include three pieces of information. Like now, if we study fast Ethernet, so it is introducing 10 base T, 10 base 100 base T or 100 base FX. So we should also understand that what this 10 base 5, 10 base 2 stands for, and how they are defined individually. If we segregate these parts, so what 10 stands for, what base stands for, and what 5, 2 and T stands for. So number 10 defines that it is an identifier which denotes the data rate speed over these media, 10 megabits per second. So 10 denotes the number in which the speed measures, like 10, 100, that's it. So word base stands for baseband, and this is the part of the identifier which signifies a type of network that uses only one carrier frequency for signaling and requires all the network stations to share its use. The segment type or the segment length, it is basically the part of identifier which can be a digit or a letter. Like we have 5 here, we have 2 here, we have T or 5F here. So digit stands for the how long a cable segment may be before attenuation sets in. For example, 10 base 5 segment can be no more than 500 meters long. And similarly, letter, if we have T or base here, they identify the specific physical type of cables. For example, T means twisted pair, and F F stands for fiber optics, and so on. So this is again the table for different variations of IEEE specification, 10 base T, 10 base 2, 5 similarly. So the next topic is gigabit Ethernet. So after fast Ethernet, there was some limitation over on the speed. Like fast Ethernet could afford 100 Mbps, up to 100 Mbps speed. So if any organization or if any uh, setup requires the speed more than 100 Mbps, so gigabit Ethernet was introduced. Okay, so these works much the same way as the 10 Mbps or the 100 Mbps Ethernet, and it uses the IEEE 802 point frame format also. For could it was capable of working with full duplex or the flow control methods also. So it provided extended characteristics than fast Ethernet. Additionally, it also has the advantage of CSMA-CD. When CSMA-CD is a medium access protocol, control protocol, which stands for control for carrier sensing medium access, or carrier collision detection, with collision detection. So uh, it it was capable of having CSMA-CD protocol when working in half duplex mode, and in support simple network management protocols too also. So we will see CSMA-CD and Aloha and CSMA protocols in next upcoming videos also. These are all basically medium access control protocols which lies on the data link layer of OSI reference model. Gigabit Ethernet takes the advantage of jumbo frames also to reduce the frame rate to to the end host. Jumbo frames are called the frames which have the larger size, like the standard format was between 64 to 1518 byte 5, or you can say 1518 bytes. Jumbo frames are in between 64 to 9215. The jumbo frames which have the larger bytes or the larger frames are known as the jumbo frames, because the larger frames translate to lower frame rates, and using jumbo frames on gigabit ethernet links greatly reduce the number of packets from more than 80,000 to less than. If we have a large number of frames, I mean large size of the frames, though we are capable of sending more data, so we will be requiring less packets. So this was reduced, to some very large extent, from more than 80,000 to less than 50,000 per second. So yes, if we have large number of packets frame sizes, so we can send more packets from it, so less number of packets will be required in that case. Gigabit ethernet can be transmitted over cat5 cable and optical fiber cables such as following, like 1000 base T. Gigabit Ethernet were capable of sending data onto speed of 1000 Mbps. So 100 base CX stands for short distance transport. They were using copper cables. 100 base SX was having 850 wavelength fiber optics, and 100 base T base LX 1300 wavelength fiber optics. So this was all about gigabit ethernet, and further if we go with the variations of gigabit ethernet, so we have one variation or one version, you can say, of gigabit ethernet, that is known as 10 gigabit ethernet. So the operation of this ethernet was similar to that of the lower speed ethernet, so it maintains the IEEE 802.3 ethernet frame size, and so in other words I can say that whatever speed or whatever characteristics the normal ethernet was having, 10 gigabit ethernet had the same features or the characteristics, and the format that preserves layer 3, that is data link layer, and greater protocols. However, 10 gigabit ethernet only operates over point to point links in the full duplex mode, so it was capable of only sending data to point networks, into the point to point networks, but not to the broadcast links. So additionally, it also uses only multi-mode and single mode optical fiber for transporting ethernet frames. We should also note here that operation in full duplex mode eliminates the need for the CSMA CD. So CSMA CD was mainly for carrier sensing and collision and detecting the collision also. So when 10 gigabit ethernet is working in full duplex mode, it eliminated the use of the need of CSMA CD. So next we have the table which describes the 10 gigabit ethernet physical interface naming conventions. Like the different naming conventions was 10G base T, 10G base R, 10G base X. Here 10G stands for 10 gigabit ethernet and 10G base W. Okay, so the specification used by IEEE was IEEE 802.3 AE. It was known in the year of 2002. So we will discuss about the naming convention here. The 10G base was the prefix, and the first suffix stands for, if it is C, it stands for copper to coaxial. S stands for short, L stands for long, E stands for extended, Z stands for ultra extended, T stands for copper or UTP, and so on. And second suffix was physical layer encoding, was defining the physical layer encoding, that R stands for LAN PHY, LAN physical layer, W stands for WAN physical layer, and X stands for LAN physical layer. As we have studied OSI reference model in our previous unit, so OSI reference model, in OSI reference model we have physical layer, which is the first layer of the reference model and which only deals with the hardware configurations or the mechanical specifications of your layers or the different configurations of your network. So it directly communicates with the network and the type of configuration it is uses. So the third suffix was if it is 4, then it stands for WWDM wavelengths. It defines wavelengths basically. So up to this point, the Ethernet, we have seen the what is Ethernet and what are its different types, like fast Ethernet or gigabit Ethernet. So we know that the initially the LAN local area networks were introduced. So the Ethernet is a name of the network which worked on the technology of local area network, and local area network was initially a wired network. That's a different thing. We can establish a LAN without wires also. So this was all about Ethernet and fast Ethernet and gigabit Ethernet. Thank you so much.